The travelers had come a long way and had a long way yet to go. Unable to come off the donkey without her husband's assistance and the grace of a large stone, still she came down, one hand to her back, feeling the ache throughout her body. The child in her belly kicked, made her draw a quick breath. Leaning heavily on Joseph's arm, Mary picked her way along the path. Others on the road had told them that here they might find a spring with water so cold it would hurt their teeth. Here they might find a place of shelter and calm where they could bed down for the night. Here we come too, to find a moment of refreshment and rest from our journeys. No matter where you are going on your journey, no matter if it is your choice to go, or if you left by faraway edict, no matter if you carry a burden of the deepest of joys, no matter how weary and thirsty you may be, pause here. Take a quiet breath. Rest in peacefulness. Be renewed and restored, for in a short while the journey will continue with its worries and troubles and joys and promise. Until then, let us join together minds and hearts and worship.
That reading was by Dr. Linda Hart. Reverend Dr. Linda Hart, please rise and bow your spirit for our opening hymn.
Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches, not only green when summer's here, but in the coldest time of year. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. When winter days are dark and drear, you bring us hope for all the year. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. You bid us true and faithful be, and trust in God unchangingly. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches.
Seems early, but guess what? It's right on time, right? Good morning. I hear some turkey in somebody's loins or tofurkey. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge. My name is Reverend Chris Long, the Minister of Congregational Life here at this church. Reverend Nathan, our senior minister, is still away today, continuing to enjoy the holidays with his family. If you're visiting us for the first time, good morning and a welcome to you. We are glad you have decided to come and be with us this morning, or if it's been a long time, welcome home. Please do come again and again to see if this may become your sacred community of hope. Also, do join members and friends of the congregation in our reception area for refreshments and coffee after the service. Those joining us online, I think it's 40 degrees here in Baton Rouge, something like that, but it's cold and I'm loving every second of it. Anybody else loving the cold? Wait, the hands are flailing in the sanctuary. And if you are there and you're enjoying 70-degree weather, we love you too. Please put a hello in the chat to let us know where you are in from today. Today's announcements. For middle hour adult programming this week, we have in room 5, Faith and Practice. The Advent Practice of Hope will be in room 5. In room 6, we have meet and greet with the minister. And during that time, we get to ask questions about this church, about Unitarian Universalism, and get to know each other a little bit more in room 6. Room 7, for our Faith in Action, we have social justice team on voting. Yes, we are continuing to need to do our work in voting. Amen? 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 Thank you. We got it's hard, but we got to still. Okay. So for our pre-K and K classes, they'll be in room 2. Grades 1 through 5 will be in room 3, and our youth group will be meeting in room 1. A gentle reminder that today we will be having a family potluck and tree trimming party. Who here likes to party? Just a few people. Do y'all dance at y'all's parties? Okay, never mind. There will be crafts, food, and time to connect with others who are a part of this church. Please, please, please do come, even if you weren't able to prepare something to share, and it's open to all ages. And the tree trimming will begin at 1. Y'all, nobody noticed the tree this week? Okay, it's a little understated, but we need your help to make the tree festive this afternoon, starting at 1 to 3, where the party continues. It's that time of year that we as a church have helped to serve meals for the week, starting tomorrow through Friday, and to be in community with our neighbors at the Holy Grill in the Zion City area, which this church has been dedicated to for decades. Let's continue this tradition. Volunteers are needed starting tomorrow through Friday from 11:45 to 12:45. Please sign up today or contact Mary Ellen Hale. I always screw her name up, but I did it right this time. It's Mary Ellen Hale. Never mind, you don't need to know what's inside my brain just yet. Mary Ellen Hale, if you're able to support our efforts, again, we've done it for many years, and this is a part of our connections with the Interfaith Federation of Greater Baton Rouge. Again, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Each week when we gather, we take pause to breathe as a sacred community, held together by our values, our commitments to each other, and to dance into the joys and struggles of our lives together. We do this in collective silence, meditation, or prayer. This morning's prayer. Spirit of life, universe, Gaia, God. As always, in our time for prayer together, we take pause to honor the Homa and Bayagula peoples whose lands we now inhabit. As Native American Heritage Month ended officially yesterday, may we, each of us, continue to do personal and collective studies on this history that is still living and alive here in Baton Rouge and around the country. I invite us now into a few brief moments to feel, just feel what you are feeling in this moment. If it is joy for any number of reasons, feel this. If it is sadness due to the passing of a loved one, a pet, even due to family, because the times we find ourselves in, feel this too. And if we're still numb, fearful, or even depressed from the election, feel what you are feeling. With so much going on within and all around us, we must create pauses in our lives to just breathe. We hold those in our hearts or with us online that are experiencing health issues or new diagnoses of any kind. Know that we as a church are here for you. May we expand our minds and hearts to the wider world. This week, there was or is a glimmer of hope for a tentative ceasefire to the wars in Lebanon. I'm not sure if that's still holding. And as we know, the wars on Gaza and the people of Palestine, the Sudan, Congo, and other parts of the world where war rages on. May we continue to pray for peace everywhere. As we continue to settle into this hour of worship, please find time to breathe and finding a few moments of inner peace as we let go of what may be troubling you just for this hour. Ashe, Shalom, Salam, blessed be so, may it be so, and Amen. The sharing of stones ritual here at the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge is a time in our service where we take pause to come forth to share stones as we honor the joys and sorrows of our lives with this community. As it is now the holiday season, the colors of our stones have changed to reflect this change. Visitors are always welcome to take part in this ritual. Those gathered are invited to sign cards for members of the congregation and their family at the congregational caring table. The table is out here, also in our reception area. Today we have a few cards that need our signatures. Our first stone today is to honor the life of longtime member Kathleen Kreidler, who passed away in the early morning of November 26th. May we continue to hold in our hearts her children, Philip, Alfred, Sarah, Alfred, and Ken Kreidler. There's a card to be signed for them as well. We also have thinking of you cards for Wendy Garnier and her partner, Christine Neymar, as Wendy was diagnosed with lung cancer this week and awaits her results from a biopsy that was another procedure that was held on Friday. Our final thinking of you card is for Nate Stevens, son of Rachel and Case Duckworth, as he has broken his collarbone. Those who would like to take part in this ritual, please come forth, lining up on the east or west walls of the sanctuary, or if the middle aisle is easier for you, please come forth. Online, please share your stones in the chat box, if you would. Our sharing a stone ritual begins. Let us say together our chalice lighting words. With hope to make this a better world, we light this flame. Its light is a symbol of the power of love.
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue.
Thank you. We are a generous church, to be sure, and with humility. That generosity is that we share 1/2 of our monthly offerings with the local congregation that is extending our mission and vision into the community. This month, our collected offering will be shared with Voices of the Experienced, also known as VOTE. I reached out to their leaders this week. Can we turn the mic down just a little bit, Mike? Thank you. I reached out to their leaders this week, and they shared this. In our post-elections environment, they thanked us for our ongoing financial and on-the-ground support by some of our members of this church. They further stated they are committed to collaborating with elected officials to ensure equal rights for reproductive health, LGBTQ plus individuals, mental health, and housing choices. Their efforts include educating the public on the importance of voting and civic engagement, as well as advocating for rehabilitative restorative justice instead of punitive, biased, and outdated practices. They will continue to rise up against the unjustified campaign that impact incarcerated youth and adults in prison. This is a quote, "They are committed now as ever to no surrender, no retreat." Visitors, please feel no obligation to give. We at this church continue to be building on our financial giving as a spiritual practice, extending our values into the community in yet another way. This morning's offering will be humbly accepted and shared in the same spirit. Please give as generously as you are able to. Will the ushers please come forward? As we are now entering the Advent season, today we will share a reading to be shared each week throughout our Advent season. And at the end of this, I'll invite our worship associate, George Judy, to light today's candle, our candle of hope. This reading is offered by Rosemary Watola Trum. She writes, "So I can't save the world, can't save even myself, can't wrap my arms around every frightened child, can't foster peace among nations, can't bring love to all who feel unlovable. So I practice opening my heart right here in this room and being gentle with my insufficiency. I practice walking down the street heart first, and if it is insufficient to share love, I will practice loving anyway. I want to converse about truth, about trust. I want to invite compassion into every interaction. One willing heart can't stop a war. One willing heart can't feed all the hungry, and sometimes, daunted by a task too big, I tell myself, what's the use of trying? But today, the invitation is clear: to be ridiculously courageous in love, to open the heart like a lilac in May, knowing freeze is possible, and opening anyway, to take love seriously, to give love wildly, to race up to the world as if I were a puppy, adoring and unjaded, stumbling on my own exuberance, to feel the shock of indifference, of anger, of cruelty, of fear, and stay open, to love as if it matters, as if the world depends on it. Now we light this week's candle, the candle for hope. May it be so.
So we have just lit the first candle for Advent, the candle for hope. I mentioned to my therapist this week how difficult it was to write about hope for a children's lesson right now. He pointed out something that I hadn't thought of, that the other three candles for Advent are peace, joy, and love, which are things that happen in the moment. Hope is the only one that is in the future. The dictionary says, to hope is to cherish a desire with the anticipation or expectation that it will happen. I have a story about hope. It's a short excerpt from the essay, I Am the Greatest, by James Bird, who is a Native American young adult author and filmmaker. The essay appears in a book called Hope Wins. He writes, I met Hope when I was 3 years old. My mom and my brother, sister, and I were driving down the highway in Los Angeles late at night. My mom was crying, and I didn't know why. All I knew was that our car was making funny noises, and Mom kept begging it to get us where we needed to go. And then it happened. The car stopped. The radio turned off. The headlights went black. We were stalled in the middle of the freeway, in the middle of the night. And then there was a semi-truck coming right at us. My mom was so scared. It could have been a really bad accident. But instead, there was a flurry of fireworks on the side of our car. The truck roared past. A white pickup truck pulled up next to us. 3 men jumped out. My mom started smiling and crying at the same time. These men must have been angels. Angels speak Spanish, and they drive trucks with rakes and trash cans fastened to them. They risked their lives to push our car to the shoulder of the freeway. They called the police for us, hopped in their truck, and drove off. They must have had other families to save. The cop who answered the call saw that my mom was so shaken up, she couldn't even tell him where we had been going. He saw a family stranded on the side of the road and got us a hotel room for the night. My mom said when she saw the truck coming, she was hoping for so many things at once. Hoping the truck would miss us, hoping we'd be okay, hoping for a miracle. That was my introduction to hope. What is hope? Hope is like your shadow. When you find yourself in a dark place, you think it's gone. You think you're hopeless and alone. But the moment you see some light, even if it's just a sliver, you realize hope is still there, right beside you, waiting for you to step forward so it can keep following you. Hope is helping a family get safely off the freeway. Hope is what you do for others. We are all in this together. I believe HOPE stands for helping other people every day. Let's spread hope. Let's cover the entire planet in hope.
In the Christian calendar, Advent is a time of waiting and preparation for the coming of the Christ child. This story from first century Palestine tells us that with the birth of Jesus comes hope, love, the undoing of the status quo, a new reign of peace on earth. At this time of year, we are invited, as weary people have done since the beginning of time, to kindle tiny lights and whisper sweet music, to cradle our hopes like newborn children, to wonder what love looks like in practice, to await a new era with patience and preparation. This year, we might not feel like waiting is the best move. We may cry out in lament for lives and rights taken without account, joining our voices with all who cry for justice and peace. This year, sitting quietly in the midst of chaos might feel close to impossible. Finding the magic in this sense of waiting can be difficult for many of us, not just this year, but any year. For how does one sit quietly when life can be so unkind? What about the times when we wait for word of family in conflict zones, or an injured friend, or a dreaded diagnosis? Times when we wait for illness to set in, or for a child who does not arrive. In times like these, we might find ourselves wishing that time would pass more quickly to get us to the other side of a nightmare. How do we live in that kind of waiting time? Advent challenges us not just to wait, but to wait actively, to do the work of preparing hearts and tilling the soil that awaits seeds of hope and love. Advent encourages us to be present in each moment of waiting. The moment of magic, the time we have been waiting for, is now, not some future date, nor the end of the Advent calendar, not the hour that days begin to lengthen again, or the long-awaited morning of presents. The mystery, the excitement, the beauty of this season are all found in the waiting time. And so we wait, allowing ourselves to be fully present to all that is happening in each moment. When we do, we join our lives and our breath and our hearts with all who are waiting for justice, waiting for peace, waiting for a world reborn. The words by Megan Lloyd Joyner.
Again, I say good morning. Good morning. It is good to be back after a much-needed 16-day break. 16 days is a long time. I needed that break. And to be welcomed back with such warm regards for the start of our holiday season. Anyone still digesting some leftovers from Thursday? Oh my, was somebody said in the sanctuary. I am grateful to share I have been gifted some amazing holiday treats from some of you that will last me a few more weeks maybe, as I put some of them in the freezer. Yum, yum. Today's sermon title and theme in 3 parts. The start of Advent 2024, hope with no delusions, no room for delusions. Sermon part 1 is Advent, active waiting. Part 2, hope, no room for delusions. And part 3, do us good, strengthening our hope muscles. Advent, active waiting. As reading 1 shared through the words of Reverend Megan Lloyd Joyner stated, Advent challenges us not to just wait, but to wait actively, to do the work of preparing hearts and till the soil that awaits seeds of hope and love. Advent encourages us to be present in each moment of waiting. For me, as I assume for some of you, the time of Advent and the challenges of following each week's recommendations to focus, study, create family practices around the themes of hope, peace, love, and joy was not a part of my family or religious communities I was a part of before moving to Louisiana a few short years ago. This is not to suggest I have not had friends over the years whose families did not share a deep dedication to giving each other some of the most creative Advent calendars to count down each day of the month of December leading up to Christmas with chocolates, relevant symbols, some very Christian items. Other Advent calendars have been more about hope, merrymaking, and just pure laughter-inducing items and joy. Being here in Louisiana for 3 holiday seasons now and learning how important this time of year is for this church and in this community, I have come to really value how seriously many of you take Advent and creating practices to encourage each week's themes for yourselves and for your families. As this week's theme is hope, and with the realities of where we find ourselves as a state, community, and world with so much going on, and connecting to aspects of Reverend Joyner's reading, where are you with your own understanding of hope in this moment? Especially with all so many of us have been and are enduring in our lives and within our families. With a year where some of us have received health diagnoses and treatment for illness, family deaths, and major accidents, where is your proverbial tank on hope? Not to mention pre- and post-election realities that for some, where the elections may have been positive experiences. And for way too many gathered here and online, there is yet so much uncertainty, anxiety, and fear of what may yet unfold. What does or might hope look like for you? And with the wars and our ever-changing climate, is there space, time, desire to devote more of our limited energies to exploring this week's theme of hope?
We hold hope close, from Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto. In this community, we hold hope close. We don't always know what comes next, but that cannot dissuade us. We don't always know just what to do, but that will not mean that we are lost in the wilderness. We rely on the certainty beneath, the foundation of our values and ethics. We are the people who return to love like a north star and to the truth that we are greater together than we are alone. Our hope does not live in some glimmer of an indistinct future. Rather, we know the way to the world of which we dream, and by covenant and the movement forward of one right action and the next, we know that one day we will arrive at home.
Here at this church, from this pulpit, we never dictate what you may be or should be feeling at any moment. And just as the calendar changes today into the season of Advent, where we focus as a spiritual practice on themes for the month, we cannot force or attempt to say, now feel hopeful, now feel peace, joy, and or love. Amen? Amen. Yet, what we can do is share of our experiences and some of the teachings of our faith, of science, and of mystery that may support our values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. It is sometimes said most ministers, even Unitarian Universalist ministers, have one sermon that they preach over and over again and y'all laughing at me. Not at me, somebody said, but it's okay to laugh at me. I laugh at myself sometimes. We preach it over and over again, but sometimes in different forms. Friends, this may or may not be true for me, and I do have to admit there has been one theme that has literally been a part of my ministry even before seminary, dating back to when the book entered my life in January of 2005. Is that a long time ago, y'all? The book is titled How to prevail in the face of illness. So good is the book. I have 2 copies. Talk to me about the story at some point. How People Prevail in the Face of Illness, The Anatomy of Hope, by Dr. Jerome Groopman. It was originally released in 2004, now 20 years ago. Through its 211 pages, Dr. Groopman discusses in great detail his experiences as a hematologist and oncologist, being with patients and their families as they engaged in the realities of many illnesses, including cancer. He engaged the telling of these stories through his lens as a scientist, largely, and later in the book through his somewhat reluctant embracing that faith needs and rituals of some of his patients were deeply essential. He also shares of his own experience of living with major back pain for 19 years and how through science, psychology, and physiology, he came to better understand that there may be indeed a science to the practice of hope. He offers this definition for hope that I have and continue to find useful as a spiritual practice, especially for such times as these and in my own life. He wrote, "Hope is one of our central emotions, but we are often at a loss when asked to define it. Many of us confuse hope with optimism, a prevailing attitude that things turn out for the best. But hope is different from optimism. Hope does not arise from being told to think positively or from hearing an overly rosy forecast. Hope, unlike optimism, is rooted in unalloyed reality." I insert this definition of unalloyed: to be complete and unreserved reality. He continues, "Although there's no uniform definition of hope, I found one that seems to capture what my patients have taught me. Hope is the elevating feeling we experience when we see in the mind's eye a path to a better future. Hope acknowledges the significant obstacles and pitfalls along the path. True hope has no room for delusions. Clear-eyed, hope gives us the courage to confront our circumstances and the capacities to surmount them. Might this definition be useful for you and for us as we continue to enter this Advent season with all that we are enduring, even when some of us don't feel remotely hopeful and want to cuss the world all the way out? What might hope look like as a spiritual practice, if just for this week? Again, we must always feel what we feel when we feel it, and I want to continue to encourage us to remember we are part of a faith, religious community where we don't have to do our hoping alone. Amen? Please rise and bow to your spirit for our next Christmas song, Let Christmas Come.
Let Christmas come, its story told, when days are short and winds are cold. Let Christmas come, its lovely song, when evening soon and night is long. Let Christmas come, its great star glow, a quiet city sleeps below. Let Christmas come, its starlight beam, love born a quiet dream. Let Christmas come, grant us its peace. When night is dim, our light increase. Let Christmas come, the light now sings and shares the joy the season brings.
From Amanda Gorman, a reflection inspired by the musical Wicked, I believe. Do us good. Are we born wicked, or do we have wickedness thrust upon us? Are we born bad or brave? There is a world we miss when we misbehave, but we miss just as much when we misconstrue, when we distrust what is different and detest what is new. History is written by the victors, and villains are embittered by the forcible and the few. But how we live, our children learn. What we earn when we're earnest, and what we forge when we forgive. Only with the decency do we discover people are not born evil. We are born equal. Green, not with envy, but with what we envision in each other. A sentimental mankind, finding ourselves even in the dark. There is a goodness that knows in our hearts no one is wicked at birth. We are born to light the wick of the earth. We are all that girl when something changes within us, something changes within the vast world. We will never be the same. This feeling, fervid as a flame, has a name. Unadulterated loving. Rushing, flooding together, we will stare down the emerald tower. We will not cower. We will not let our power take over us, but let ourselves take back our power. We won't just say we're sorry now, rejoicify that we're glad and grateful just to be seen and not listened to. We'll dream, soar into the blue, rise up to a new reality, because defending the good is how we defy gravity. So if you dare to find us, look to our west-turned eyes. Everyone won't do good deeds, but all deserve the chance to try, to be understood as we should, and by this they would mourn as wicked. Then let this wicked do us good.
Do us good, strengthening our hope muscles for this Advent season. Friends, with just about 30 days left of 2024, anyone tired of what much of this passing year has meant for so many of us? Only 3 people? Oh, okay, a few more people raised their hands. Yet, might we have just a little more or even a lot more space to strengthen our figurative or literal muscles for hope? Please stay with us just a little bit longer, okay? Anyone here had a chance to see the movie Wicked yet? Well, in full disclosure, I have taken the opportunity to view the film 3 times already.
You're making up for the rest of us.
Might I see it again? Who knows? Reading 3 is literally fresh off the YouTubes from November 26th. The words from this reading are a spoken word piece crafted by Amanda Gorman directly, as was shared, related to the film. And again, some of her words. Are we born wicked, or do we have wickedness thrust upon us? Are we born bad or brave? There is a world we miss when we misbehave, but, listen to this, we miss just as much when we misconstrue, when we distrust what is different and detest what is new. History is written by the victors, and villains are embittered by the forcible and the few. But how we live, our children learn. What we earn when we are earnest, and what we forge when we forgive. Only with a decency do we discover. People are not born evil, we are born equal. Green not with envy, but what we envision in each other. Born with what we envision in each other. A sentimental mankind finding ourselves even in the dark. There is a goodness that knows in our hearts. No one is wicked at birth. We are born to light the wick of the earth. We are all that girl. Can I get an amen? We are all that girl. Don't call me a girl, though, because I'm a gay man, not a girl. That's for another day. When something changes within us, something changes within this vast world. This is some theology. Is this theology, y'all? I don't think they believe it at the Unitarian Church. Is this theology, y'all? Yes. We will never be the same. This feeling, fervent as a flame, has a name: unadulterated loving. For me, this poem, the words of this spoken piece, read of hope, even as she never mentions the word hope once within it. Yet again, for me, it speaks to the theological power of literature, contemporary literature, to transform what can be a lifetime of despair into the kind of hope Dr. Groupman speaks of in his definition I shared earlier. Imagine, if you will, being told for as many as 20 or more years of your life that you are the cause of the breakdown of the family and our society because of your gender or sexual orientation. Even more, imagine again that because of your skin color, your people are the reasons laws are crafted to criminalize, incriminate, and kill way too many of your people because of your very existence, or that you are an alien and don't deserve to go any place you want on this earth, even if it's for food, even if it's for shelter, even if it's for a better life. And to be a part of a society that works to ensure the infant mortality rates of your people are some of the worst in the civilized world. Imagine yet again that because you were born into generational poverty, you do not deserve better schools, clean, breathable air, or accessible, healthy foods. Is this not the very definition of evil? Is it not the case for way too many people here in this city, state, and around the world? Again, is this not evil? As this is the start of Advent, and we as Unitarian Universalists, even when we are indeed some of the hardest or maybe yet to hard times of our lives, I know of a kind of hope that asks me and maybe some of you to engage after a period of rest, to engage or continue to engage the kind of hope Dr. Groupman invites us to explore and to practice and to live. Again, his words, hope is an elevating feeling we experience when we see in the mind's eye a path to a better future. Hope acknowledges the significant obstacles and pitfalls along the path. True hope has no room for delusion. Clear-eyed hope gives us courage to confront our circumstances and the capacity to surmount them. I am learning, I hope and pray, I am learning that the spiritual practice required to strengthen our hope muscles are here in abundance and throughout this living faith tradition in this city, in this state, in this country, and I would dare say the world over. Again, I leave you with Amanda Gorman's closing. Did anybody go see the movie now since I said I saw it 3 times? I'll go with somebody else for a 4th time because I loved it that much. But here are her words, do us good. So if you dare to find us, look to our west-turned eyes. Everyone won't do good deeds, but all deserve the chance to try to be understood as we should, and by this they would mourn as wicked. Then let this wicked do us good. Have a wondrous, restful, and reflective Advent season. Ashe, shalom, salam, blessed be, may it be so. And all the people say it. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn.
Once in toil David's city stood a lowly cattle shed, where a mother laid her baby in a manger for his bed. So may we, when life turns hard, find in love our stay and guard. Shepherds came to see this wonder and to kneel in holy awe at that lowly stable manger where the infant lay on straw. So may we this happy morn honor every child that's born. From afar 3 magi journeyed to that stable rude and bare, to pay homage to the infant, offering gifts both rich and rare. So may we our gifts bestow, whether we be high or low. In that happy Christmas spirit, hear the angels from on high sing their ancient salutations. Joy's a gift you cannot buy. So may we, with heart that sings, share the truth this season brings.
Dear ones gathered here and online, know that this may be a very, very hard time for so many of us, and we can believe in hope that is not delusional. Gather your people, gather your resources. Hope is built between and amongst us all, especially now. Go forth from this place knowing that you are whole and holy and deserving of love, how you are, as gifts to the world. Be the light all of us need a little bit more of until we are together again. Blessed be, Ashe, and Amen.
Amen.